Yeah, I think, I'm immediately reading the script. Hayes had a very strong sense of morality. He had a sensitivity to him that I really resonated with. He has this desperate want to not be seen as a joke and to be taken seriously, which I thought was really, really fascinating as well. And then obviously there's this amazing love story at the center of it. One that feels compelling and steamy, but there's a genuine love and a genuine connection there. And then, obviously knowing Annie was attached and being such a massive fan of hers, and then actually getting to read with her in the chemistry test and it going so well. It was just a dream opportunity.
She's wonderful.
She's pretty good, isn't she? She's pretty amazing.
And I was going to ask you, what was it like working with Anne?
Yeah.
Like, how was it prepping, the relationship we see?
Yeah, we did a bit of rehearsal with Michael Showalter, but a lot of it was just us becoming friends and sending each other voice messages. And I kicked it off. I wanted to know what her death row meal would be, starter, a main course, dessert. And we talked about that for a while. And then we just realized that we had a lot of similarities and similar interests. And I think a love for our own characters and each other's characters. And, the chemistry test was very revealing because it showed that, making these two characters believable with each other and grounding them, you need a real simpatico and a real connection on a human level with each other. And I think we just had that in spades.
You can tell.
Ah, thanks.
It shows on screen.
I'm glad.
And so I wanted to ask you a bit about how, this offers like a sensitive look into the pressures and prices of fame, and how important do you think it is that we explore these stories and give audiences insight into the humanity behind a celebrity and the people around them?
Yeah, I love that you referenced that. I think it's just very interesting. We often sort of deify these people in the public eye, and they sort of become dehumanized in some capacity because we're only really, the only part of them that we really know is their work and who they are on screen or, performing on stage. But, these people all live very, very rich, if not different lives. And there are really wonderful, glamorous sides to it, but there are also, very paralyzing and claustrophobic sides to it. And again, that's what really interested me about Hayes is, this young man who gets famous when he's quite young and growing up as an adult in the spotlight, but still maintaining this real sense of heart and humanity within him. I think it was a wonderful exploration of that.
Speaking of Hayes, I saw you mention that your career started with a role in a play.
Yeah.
And obviously Hayes' big thing is could have been in Tiny Tim, could have been in a boy band. So I sort of wanted to ask you a bit about how much of yourself did you see in your character, and did you have that sliding doors moment in your life as you started?
Yeah, look, I think Hayes and I are very, very different. And I think the joy with a lot of the parts I've played is being able to really flesh out someone who feels different to me. I think that's more exciting in some ways, but there's definitely been sliding doors moments. The play that I auditioned for where I got scouted as an actor, I was standing outside of the audition place for about half an hour, deciding whether I should go in or not. And I called my dad and said, I'm going to make a fool of myself. And he really convinced me to go in. And, I'm sitting here years later having acted with these amazing actors, Anne Hathaway, Julianne Moore, two of many, and my life would just look incredibly different were it not for a bit of encouragement from my dad. So I can definitely resonate with that aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What a career.
Yeah.
I loved Mary and George.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
But I also wanted to ask you about there are some really great British references in this film. We've got Scunthorpe.
I knew you were going to mention Scunthorpe.
I'm Northern, so.
Okay.
And Graham Norton. How much did you enjoy bringing these little bits of the UK into the film?
Well, again, it's texturing for the character. He is a Brit, and I love that Selene watches Graham Norton even as an American. But for me, that was a surreal experience because I've grown up watching Graham Norton, and again, another icon for me. Funny trivia, which, you know, some people are aware of now, but I was filming that day with Julianne Moore because I was doing Mary and George at the time. And little did I know she was booked on the actual show the same day as me. And so we both left work and met up together. She was in the next door dressing room. And then I did the fake portion as Hayes. But it was definitely important to include these sort of British references to ground him. Yeah, the Scunthorpe thing is something that flies over all the Americans' heads. But British people, I think, very much get that reference.
Oh, it was great. It really made me laugh. And so looking at the band, you're a front man of a boy band. How, like, did you have to like research other bands? How did you go about it? What was the prep like to be a pop star?
I think, I mean, there was the dance training, the singing, vocal coaching, and because, you know, there was just a lot of work to kind of huge amount of it. And I would say that would probably be the thing that's comparable. But we had such a blast. We filmed it over about 3 days. And you know, by the end of it, we just like really didn't want to finish because we were having such a good time. But yeah.
I mean, did you have a favorite August Moon song?
So I think my favorite is Guard Down, because there's something akin to, there's a Police song, which I really love, but I'm now forgetting. It wasn't Roxanne, but it was kind of modeled a little bit on a lot of the work of the Police. And so that kind of, I had a natural inclination towards that, I'd say.
I was just going to ask you really quickly,
yeah.
Who was your August Moon growing up? You know, like what's your first concert? Who did you really love?
So there's a lot of different questions there. I mean, my first concert was Oasis with Kasabian supporting, and that was like a crazy experience. But I mean, I wasn't as big into boy bands. I'd say my sister got me into Backstreet Boys. That was like her first love. And so I kind of was into it as well. But I was more into like the Stones and you know, my uncle is a great taste in rock music. So that was kind of my education, you could say.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey you guys!
Hey you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey you guys!
Hey you guys!